up, guys? It's your boy, Barça Boy 103. Today we're going to be reacting to the Barcelona news over the past 48 hours. We do have some big topics to discuss. Firstly, of course, Joan Laporta's presidential campaign is coming to an end. In order to be re-elected, he's going to have to promise a big summer signing, and he's now working behind the scenes on the incorporation of Erling Haaland in the summer of either 2025 or 2026. Again, he has an excellent relationship with Erling Haaland's camp, and that'll be a big factor as well. Also, the release clause with Man City will be active soon as well. We'll discuss all the details and logistics behind that deal. While Barcelona, in the meantime, are planning apparently a January transfer for Oscar Mingueza. Again, we'll talk about that, the price, the integration process, whether or not it's worth it or not. We also have some big injury others as well. Olmo, Fermin Lopez, and Pablo Gavi are all fit. They're all expected to get the medical green light ahead of the match against Sevilla this weekend. But one player who will not is Lamine Yamal. We'll talk about the injury that he did pick up, of course, with Spain. And finally, we do have some updates around the club as well. Hansi Flick's new rules in the dressing room. We'll be discussing that. More footage of the Espai Barça, Camp Nou fights as well. And finally, according to the CEO of the Super League will be making its ideal start in a year's time. We'll discuss, of course, the information behind that as well. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Let's try to get to 200 likes in this video. It would be very much appreciated. And of course, if you are new, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already. And let's get into it. Now, before we get into this video is sponsored by Number One Foot. Number One Foot is by far the best replica jersey website on the market, and it's not even close. They have a variety of different items at the absolute best prices. They sent me two kits recently. First one is the retro Barcelona kit, the home kit, which I'm currently wearing right now, and also as well the second kit for that season in the blue edition. Oh my god, like the stitching is fantastic. The quality is, superb. Feels like I have the actual, original kit for a fraction of the price. And if you use the discount code BOY at checkout, you do get 10% off your order. That's BOY. Use it at checkout, and all orders above $80 as well will receive free shipping. So what are you waiting for? Hit the top link in the description down below and get your new football kits today. Let's start off with the transfer news over the past 48 hours. The first big news that we have to discuss transfer-wise is, of course, the transfer of the Norwegian striker in Erling Haaland. Now, David Bernabeu of sport. Now, reliability-wise, I think over the past year, he's been kind of shite, but before that, he used to be top. So maybe this is his remontada arc, I have no idea. But he's come out saying that Joan Laporta wants to make a statement signing before his presidential term ends. It has been decided that he wants to go all out to sign Erling Haaland. Barcelona think they can sign Erling Haaland, as the relationship between his agent and Joan Laporta is very fluid. Of course, his agent is the Mino Raiola agency. Of course, he passed away, so his second right-hand man, I think it was a girl actually, took over. I think her name is like Pimienta, something like that. Anyways, of course, we knew this is going to be on the agenda. Lewandowski's aging. Barcelona kind of need a star forward with Lewandowski leaving, because that's how Barcelona have always made their money, revenue, sponsorship, and advertisement-wise. And Erling Haaland fits the mold beyond belief. We even said this when I was early on in my Barca boy career. We were talking about Erling Haaland from Dortmund to Barcelona. We said at the time that if he goes to Man City, he's probably going to end up at either Real Madrid or Barcelona afterwards. With Mbappe going to Madrid, I don't see Haaland going there. If Madrid do get Mbappe, I will go in the corner and shoot myself, because there's no point. But I think Barcelona do have a chance on Erling Haaland. The only thing I think is that will be the issue is the price. Now, there is going to be a release clause in Erling Haaland's contract this summer. How much? No one knows. I've seen 100 million, I've seen 120, I've seen 150, I've seen 175, I've seen 200. No one knows what the fee is. That'll probably leak later on, I would say around February, March time, but that's the only issue. I think the transfer fee from Barcelona to Man City, I think personal terms will be an issue. Whether Barcelona will wait a year and until 2026 and give Lewandowski another year after this great year that he's having so far. It could turn for the worse. I think Lewandowski's future will have a big implication with Haaland. But no doubt, I think this is quite clear. With Laporta now having a year and a half left on his presidential tenure until the next election, will he run or not? That's also in the air as well. But it's quite clear that Barcelona will target Erling Haaland as the next star striker for Barcelona after Lewandowski. Now, one of the more shocking news is around. The craziest news around Barcelona over the past 48 hours, in my opinion, without a doubt, has been this news about Oscar Mingueza. Now, according to Esport 3 and also Catalunya Radio, Barcelona are considering bringing Oscar Mingueza back to Barcelona in January for 10 million euros. Hold the effing phone. You're going to invest 10 million in Oscar Mingueza after a decent start to a season. Oscar Mingueza was at Barcelona, and there's a reason why he left. Yeah, he's banging a couple assists here and there, getting into the Spain squad. Whoop the freaking effing do. I don't even think he's played for Spain yet, even though he's been called up. If he has played, he's probably off the bench for about 10 minutes. Does Oscar Mingueza upgrade the squad? The answer is no. Let's analyze it. At right back, I'd much rather have Forte and Koundé. I think they're both better right backs than Mingueza. Can Mingueza play there? Sure. Left back, Balde clear. Joan Martin. If you want to spend 10 million euros to bring in Mingueza to replace Joan Martin, sure, fine, whatever. But that's not going to be a reality. I think the club do see him more as a right back and a center back. Center back, Araujo's better. Christensen's better. Koundé is better. Inigo is better. Kubarsi is better. I would even argue Eric Garcia is better as a center back. There is no need for Barcelona to sign Mingueza. I see it as pointless. I think this is just rumors. I think this is just nonsense, especially in January as well, as if we're desperate for a fullback or another center back option. It just baffles me beyond belief, and I'm seeing some Kool-Aids online falling through this. Wake up and smell reality. Any Spanish player that has any correlation with Barcelona in decent form will be linked with Barcelona. It is as clear as day. If he does this for a whole season, I'll hold my hands up. Maybe we could have a different talk in the summer, but as of right now, you are absolutely waffling. I think our 50% rights for Mingueza will be big as well. If he doesn't make a move in the summer, we of course get half the price. We can sell half the price of our rights, should I say, to Celta Vigo if we want to as well. I think that would be a bigger play than us going out and buying Mingueza himself. Now, we do of course own 50% of the rights, so paying 10 million makes no sense. We pay 5 and the other 5 would be covered based on his rights. I have no idea, but this for me makes no sense whatsoever. But we'll wait and see if anything does materialize. Now, on the topic of Spanish players, we do have an update on our main target signing from last summer in Nico Williams. Now, according to Alex Pentel of Verlivo, he's come out saying that in early August, during a video call when Barcelona was in the US for preseason, Nico Williams told and gave Joan Laporta and Deco the okay before changing his mind a few hours later. Now, of course, if you go look at my thumbnails or titles of the videos during that time, you would see there was a lot of videos about Nico fail, Nico not happening, Nico unlikely. Then all of a sudden Nico is coming. Nico said yes, that's gonna happen. Then it's kind of like, yeah, he's not gonna come anymore. So based on how the graph went last summer, this does make sense. Now, if Nico said yes, did he say yes based on conditions? Did he say yes no matter what? That's of course is what's in the air. But I also would love to speak to Laporta and Deco and ask them who was the priority last summer. Was it Dani Olmo or was it Nico Williams? And now, of course, Dani Olmo's come out. He's played 3 games. He's done very well in those 3 games. We'll see how he does now when we come back from this international break. But I still believe that Nico Williams would have been a more impactful signing for Barcelona than Dani Olmo. Still to this day, I still firmly believe that, unless Dani Olmo gets 20 GAs this season, then maybe I'll hold my hands up. But I think something Dani Olmo's a fantastic player. Like I said, all out the summer, no doubt about it. But I think Barcelona would have capitalized and would have been more impactful with the signing of Nico Williams than Dani Olmo. But we'll wait and see if there's going to be any sort of future move. Again, like I've mentioned a million times on the channel, if the conditions are the same, I think the club will be back in for him. But if he gets more expensive, renews his contract with Bilbao, release cost goes up, more interest comes around, I think Barcelona will pull out. So we'll see how things do turn out. But apparently Nico Williams did say yes to Barcelona in the summer, but then decided to change his mind later on. But a position that Barcelona, quite frankly and quite clearly, do want to strengthen in the upcoming windows is, of course, the goalkeeping position. Now, Mundo Deportivo have come out saying that at the end of the season, Barcelona will analyze the goalkeeper position, considering the situation of Ter Stegen, Szczesny, Iñaki Peña, and even Diego Cochin. And Barcelona still consider Ter Stegen in their long-term goalkeeper, but it will depend on how he recovers and returns from his injury. So the plan is for Barcelona, wait until the summer, see what happens. There's even reports, I think Sport came out saying that Szczesny could stay longer if he does really well and he's happy and the club is happy. There's no reason to rule him out as an option as well, but it's quite clear that Barcelona are considering a big revamp in the goalkeeper position next summer. Now, in regards to those players coming in, Mundo Deportivo are reporting that there are a few goalkeepers that Barcelona are tracking. Those are Diogo Costa, Juan Garcia, Alvaro Valles, Bart Verbergen, and also Moy Bajos, who of course we talked about earlier on when Hansi Flick got the job. He was, 18-year-old German goalkeeper that was, being rumored to join Barcelona. If you were to ask me what I would do personally, if we're going straight on ability, I would sign Dibu, Emiliano Martinez, but I understand his age and the price won't be too keen for Barcelona, and that of course makes sense. I think Diogo Costa is a good goalkeeper. He's of course not being linked with City since they're going to be looking for a new goalkeeper after Ederson as well, but doesn't really wow me for that price. If he was available for maybe 30-40, I'd be maybe a bit more keen, but for 60-70, I think Diego Costa is a bit, higher up. Alvaro Valles, is going to be dirt cheap. I think he's going to be a free agent this summer, so if you maybe get him in January for a small price, or, that doesn't make sense anymore since we have Szczesny, but in the summer as a free agent, I would be all over that. If it was me, and I'm being realistic here, I would bin Ter Stegen and Iñaki Peña, and I would bring in Alvaro Valles, and I'll try to get back Arnaud Tennis as well from PSG. I spoke about this on the show yesterday, about Garna Parisian on the channel with PSG Int, about the situation of Arnaud Tennis, and I think I would definitely bring him back, especially as a second choice option. He's now third choice at PSG, gets, an extra level up at Barcelona, knows the city, knows the club. I think he'll be a great upgrade on Iñaki Peña, and also, a player for the club. And Alvaro Valles, we saw him last season, how good he is as a goalkeeper. There is a bit of a risk, of course, signing, a big name goalkeeper, which is always a gamble of Barcelona, but we've never really done that. Of course, Victor Valdez, we, nurtured Pinto as well. Bravo, we spent as, reliable goalkeeper. Ter Stegen was kind of the young prospect at the time. Silesen was kind of, a good little option. Neto was just part of a swap deal, but he was, of course, doing really well in the league. So we never really signed a big name goalkeeper, but we'll see how things do turn out. I think the club had to be very meticulous in this choice because, of course, alongside the pivot, in my opinion, the goalkeeper is one of the most difficult and most important position on the pitch. The club cannot get this wrong. So we'll see how things do turn out, but most likely the decision will be coming near the end of the season. Now, on the topic of free agents, we have been linked with a potential free agent this summer in Thomas Partey. Rarivo have come out saying that Barcelona are tracking Thomas Partey as his contract does end, of course, at the end of the season. I want to say this now, and I'm going to make this very, very clear. Barcelona do not need any more midfielders. Frankie de Jong, Casado, Christensen, Gavi, Pedri, Dani Olmo, Fermin Lopez. I'm probably forgetting someone else. Hopefully I'm not. Did I say Pedri? I think I got some. Rafinha can play there, I guess. You have a multitude. Mark Bernal. Fucking hell. You have a multitude amount of midfielders. The only reason you should sign a midfielder is if someone leaves. Frankie does not want to renew his contract. Pedri or Gavi want to leave. Casado gets an offer elsewhere. Christensen gets sold to the Premier League. If that happens, sure, we can analyze free agents. But right now, our midfield core is perfect. It's balanced and should not be touched. Nothing should be added. Nothing should be removed. I would renew everyone's contract in that midfield. Keep everyone if we can. That is the core that we want to build this team around. Do not touch it. So Thomas Partey for me makes absolutely no sense. Again, we have 8 midfielders as it already is. Unless a midfielder leaves, this signing makes absolutely 0 sense, even on a free transfer. Let's now discuss some of the injury updates around the first team at Barcelona. The first update we do have is on Barcelona's star player in Lamine Yamal, who Alvaro Morata called yesterday the best player in the world. Bloody hell. Anyways, big injury update on Lamine Yamal following his match with the Spanish national team. I'm going to go through the timeline. I think the timeline of this injury and what happened is very, very important. Now, following the match against Serbia, he did leave the stadium limping. So we saw a video quite clear, him limping and leaving the stadium. Everyone was thinking the absolute worst. Following the match, the Spanish national team did release a statement, and Lamine Yamal underwent an MRI in Madrid to assess the discomfort he experienced after the match against Denmark. The test did not indicate any structural injury, and the medical staff of the RFEF confirmed confirmed that it is just a strain. Again, just a little lock, a little overload. Prioritizing the player's health and to avoid any risk of injury, given the upcoming match against Serbia, it was decided to release Lamine Yamal from the squad. So following the conclusion of Spain, they decided to let Lamine Yamal go back to Barcelona and recover, since the game against Serbia wasn't really too important. Following this, Fabrizio Romano came out saying that Lamine Yamal is feeling better after last night's discomfort and it's not expected to be any serious issue or injury. Miguel came out saying there are some doubts about Lamine Yamal playing against Sevilla as a precautionary decision. So he might not play against Sevilla just to merely, make sure he's fully fit. So again, limped off the game. Spain said he has a bit of a knock, a little bit of an overload, so we're going to let him go back to Barcelona, but no injury was detected. Following all this, Fran Martinez from Deportivo came out saying that following tests confirmed that Lamine Yamal did not suffer any serious injury, but an overload. The player, of course, returned to Barcelona and will undergo further tests. Lamine Yamal was caught in the Barcelona airport by some fans. They're asking him how he's feeling, blah, blah, blah. He said, yeah, I'm feeling better. Let's now recover as soon as possible to, get back on the pitch. And then we had De La Fuente. Now, according to reports, De La Fuente did not want Lamine Yamal to go back to Barcelona if the test proved that there was no injury, despite the player having discomfort. I'm thinking, this bold mother effer. But then he came out in the press conference afterwards saying that, look, after the match, I asked Lamine Yamal if he was 100% fine to play on Tuesday, but he said, I don't know. And if it's not certain, if it's an I don't know, he can't play. We take care of our footballers. So fair enough to him. A little bit of respect there. I understand he's trying to keep his job and he has a job at hand. It just sucks from, a Barcelona fan perspective. Now, of course, he had his more tests in Barcelona. The club released an official statement saying that tests carried out yesterday morning, a first-team player, Lamine Yamal, has confirmed a left hamstring strain, and his return to training will depend on his recovery. So they did confirm the exact diagnosis, should I say, of what the Spanish national team did indicate. Following this, Miguel from AS came out saying that again, the test confirmed there is an overload in his hamstring, and he's now officially a doubt for the Sevilla game. Hansi Flick is considering leaving him out of the squad completely for the game against Sevilla as a precaution. Thus, he'll be, of course, 100% ready for the match against Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. Fabrizio Romano came out saying that he's expected to recover in a few days, and he could maybe still be in the squad list for Sevilla. Don't play him. Don't play him. Listen, Bayern, Madrid, Espanyol, that's do or die. That's two derbies. That's one big UCL game. I could not give less of a shite about Sevilla at home. You have, of course, Rafinha. We could now see Ansu Fati get a start. Maybe Pablo Torre out on the wing. Pau Victor on the left. We have the options to still beat Sevilla. Rest him up. I would not even conclude him in the squad list. I don't care if there's even a 1% chance risk. Do not risk it for the biscuit with Lamine Yamal. So again, Lamine Yamal is injured. Whether he plays Sevilla or not is in question. He should be 100% fully fit, ready to go for, of course, Bayern, Madrid, Espanyol, Red Star. Who else do you play? I think Sociedad as well. So hopefully that is the case. But with some injury news that's a bit on the negative side, we do have some news on the positive side. Gabriel Sanz, Deportivo came out saying that Dani Olmo, Gavi, Fermin Lopez are all now in the final stages of the recovery after the international break. They're all expected to be in the squad list for Sevilla, and given that by Hansi Flick. Now, on these three players, we have a little bit more specific update on Gavi. Firstly, Fabrizio Romano came out saying that Gavi's return is now imminent, as Barcelona staff is prepared to give him the green light this weekend against Sevilla, while the board is also planning to advance talks over a new deal and renewal, as Gavi is a crucial part of the project. So hopefully, a little something like Mark Burnell, where he comes back, gets a renewal in the first week or so. That would be absolutely huge, especially for a caliber player like Gavi. And also, Candace here to confirm this as well, that Gavi has already received basically the medical green light to return to playing. Away now the official statement from the club. The player is now ready to play again. Hansi Flick will coordinate now with the physical trainers and the medical staff on how to prepare for his return. So internally, Gavi has gotten a green light. He is now 100% fit and ready to go, and now it's down to Flick and the staff to decide how to bring him back in. Half an hour against Sevilla, 1 minute against Sevilla. Will he play against Bayern? Will he play against Madrid? He's not playing in a year. Will he play against Espanyol? Derby hasn't played in a year either. Would you chuck him away? Red Star Belgrade away, and Aweta away. These are very, very difficult games coming up for a player that's just coming back from an injury. So the time management and how he comes back from this injury will also be very, very important by Flick and his staff. But again, Gavi is back. I believe this is month 11, because I think he got injured, I think, in middle of November is when he tore his ACL with Spain. So about 11-month total recovery for Gavi. Will, of course, happily take it. We even have some more news in regards to Fermin Lopez and Dani Olmo. During yesterday's training session, Fermin Lopez, of course, did take part in the full group training session. You can see it on the YouTube channel. They released the footage of him, pictures of him as well. Fabrizio Romano also mentioned that Dani Olmo is set to get the green light imminently as well, no pictures or images of Dani Olmo in training with the first team, but he's about to be back hopefully in the next 2 days. So we're looking good. Again, Gavi, Fermin, Dani Olmo will all get the green light for Sevilla. Lamine Yamal might miss out, but apart from that, again, Bayern Munich, you'll have Lamine Yamal, you have Olmo, you'll have Gavi, you'll have Fermin Lopez. After that, you're basically just only missing Araujo and Christensen. Again, Araujo should be back end of November, beginning of December. I expect Christensen to be back just after the November international break, maybe a bit before if we are lucky. Of course, the two marks are out for the rest of the year, but slowly but surely, Barcelona are getting healthier and healthier, which also means more headache for Hansi Flick in regards to, of course, his team selections. Let's now discuss some of the news surrounding Barcelona over the past 48 hours. Now, remember this specifically 2 years ago when Xavi came in, having Miguel leaked the new rules of Xavi, coming in early, player fines, eating in the dressing room, staying the day before, traveling for a game, all this stuff. I remember it was like 12 rules or something, still on the channel, probably on the thumbnail, and now we finally have the answer for that in regards to Hansi Flick. Miguel came out saying the new rules that Hansi Flick has implemented since taking over as the coach. Number 1, punctuality. Players must arrive 90 minutes before training begins. Number 2, interesting one, daily weigh-ins. Players must check their weight every day before training. Number 3, mandatory meals at the Ciudad Deportiva. The entire squad is required to eat at the training facility. Number 4, match day activation sessions. Players must attend a morning activation session on match days. Number 5, pre-match hotel stays. The team stays at a hotel on match days, even if the game is at the Montjuic. Number 6, post-match rest. Night return trips have been eliminated. If the team plays away from home at 9 p.m. or later, the flight is going to be in over an hour and a half. The team will stay overnight in the city where the match was held. Number 7, a very, very interesting one here. No fines or challenges. Flick believes in his players' professionalism, so he has eliminated fines and does not use them as motivational challenges as well. And number 8, last but not least, limited rest days. Flick prefers not to give more than a day off per week, seeing non-training days as a wasted opportunity. So very, very different from Xavi and of course other coaches as well. I believe I did a video about Koeman's rules as well. The one that interests me here the most is of course the no fines. I understand there being no challenges because that was kind of Xavi's thing, but there being no fines, there being no consequences money wise is interesting, which means that the consequence will probably be not being involved in the squad. This is like we get, of course, with the saw with Koundé against Alaves being dropped. I also really like the post-match recovery. So if the game is really, really late, you don't have to travel overnight. We've seen Barcelona do that a lot under Xavi. So if the flight's going to be more than an hour, we're just going to stay the night in the city, rest up there, and then fly the next morning. Apart from that, I think nothing really has changed too much. But yeah, it's very interesting to see how Flick has implemented his rules in the squad. And again, that one about no fines is going to be very interesting because I think there will be punishments, but in other ways to maybe showcase it and maybe publicly not shame the players, but publicly show that these players have been fined. Because we don't know if players come late to training, or if they miss meals, or miss activation sessions, or miss team talks. We don't know. It only leaks if it's being involved with the team. So we see Koundé not starting. Oh, he's probably arrested. Nope, he was actually dropped. That's the only way we get it. But now with there being no fines, we might hear more rumors about player punishments within the squad. Now, some big news has come out around the institution of Barcelona is, of course, our involvement in the Super League. And according to the CEO of the Super League, he did speak to AS, of course, the Madrid-based newspaper, saying that they're going to be following the process to launch the competition very soon. Additionally, sources in the organization confirmed that their intention is to ideally start the tournament from September 2025. What the hell is going to happen? Because this is going to, of course, bring way more games as well. Are we going to bend the Champions League? What are Barcelona going to do with the Super Cup, the Copa del Rey, the League? And of course, Javier Tebas and Sefran will not be liking the Super League coming back. The implication and integration of this is going to be very, very, very interesting because we already have too many games as it is. Rodri's getting ACLs, Carvajal's getting ACLs. I mean, Bernal and Ter Stegen doing their knees. We're seeing like ACLs every other day. Players are just not being able to compete and stay at such a high level for such consistent amount of time. We have about 3,000 international breaks, so I have no idea how they're going to implement this. We'll have to wait and see, but the Super League is coming back. Of course, it's supposed to be Barcelona and Real Madrid spearheading it, but now Laporta and not Javier Tebas and Florentino Perez are kind of beefing now. I have no idea. We could see this, of course, capitulate in the next few months. We could see this completely fall through. I have no idea, but as of right now, according to the CEO of the Super League, who of course is very close to Joan Laporta and Florentino Perez, the Super League is still on course, and it has an ideal start date of September 2025, which of course is in a year. And the final topic that I want to discuss before I end off this video, just a bit of banter. Honestly, we have more footage of the fights that took place at the Spotify Camp Nou during the Espai Barça project. We saw many workers, of course, from that kind of bird eye view fighting, and now there is more footage coming in from a direct angle of the workers fighting with each other. This is just pure comedy, absolutely hilarious. I mean, it's just so weird. I really want to know why they were fighting. I hope a journalist can go figure that out. That'd be really cool to know. Was it, based on work? Were they just beefing? It's because they're Albanian, Romanian. They hate each other. I don't know what it is, but you can see in the back there, they're getting, full fists, helmets are flying, people are running and screaming. Like, it is absolutely crazy. So hopefully no more of this, as we don't really want to suffer any more delays. Of course, it doesn't really have any delays on the building per se, but the issue is if Barcelona had to end up, releasing these workers, or Amarak as well, who are of course running the building site, or Lickmac, should I say, sorry, then of course bringing in new workers is where the challenge comes in. So hopefully nothing too serious, but again, very, very strange scenario at Barcelona. So that was my reaction to the Barcelona news over the past 48 hours. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, in the comments down below as well, let me know your thoughts on everything we discussed. And anything on firstly, of course, is your thoughts on Erling Haaland coming to Barcelona. Would you say yes or no? For how much as well? Secondly, on Mingueza, would you bring him back for that fee as well? Third, your thoughts on the injury of Lamine Yamal. Would you rest him against Sevilla or have him in the squad list? And your thoughts on the 3 players coming back and how would you integrate their returns as well? And finally, your thoughts on the Super League as well. Are you in favor of it, disfavor of it? You think we should have more games? You think we should sack off a competition like a Super Cup or a Copa or Champions League if this league is going to start up? Of course, leave me all your thoughts down in the comments below. And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below as well if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next time on the channel. Take care and Forza Barça.